But Snute beats Nighten, that we know for sure. So he is up one game in this, or one match in this group.
Yeah, very, very important. And this is a PVZ. This is our first PVZ here, as I've made my attempt to just only cast Terran players because I'm horribly biased. We have our Protoss player from Team Alien Invasion, I believe it is, Kerr, in the bottom left.
So how are we going to pronounce this? Are we going to say Kerr?
Yeah, Kerr. Or we could call him K or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I just feel very awkward when I'm about to say his name, so I don't really know.
You gotta pronounce it like a growl or something. Be like Kerr.
Because I heard someone say something like that, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds weird. I don't want to do that sound. So Kerr is okay, I guess. And his opponent is the Zerg player here. We have Liquid Snute from, actually the team says Trolldom. It's like his a group of friends of his, but his real team is of course Liquid. So we have Liquid Snute spawning to the bottom right.
Yes, quite a talented young man, as many StarCraft players really are. And he's opening up pretty economically timed spawning pool. Doesn't seem like he's got any weird trickery going on here. He's just gonna expand. This probe will get here in time if you wanted to try.
Oh wow!
He's not even gonna.
Come on, Snute. Yes, he got the hatchery down. So that's actually a really good win for Snute to get that hatchery down. It's so annoying to get it delayed because he was just moving out to take it. Looking at Kerr, he seems to be going for Forge, Fast Expand, Forge, and then Nexus. And I think that Snute is quite comfortable playing versus this because he knows the timings perfectly. Playing versus a Gateway Expand is a little bit tougher for him lately than I would say, because you really don't know what to expect from the Protoss player. He's spreading out his overlords here, checking for the gas timings in the main, maybe. He knows that this is Forge Fast Expand, and he's probably going to take a third base very, very soon.
Yeah, and he can do that relatively safely as the gateway is only halfway done, so there's no real threat of any kind of attack. The cannon, of course, assures that nice cozy defense. And this probe's heading back towards the top right position. Curry's...
Yeah, and Snute actually saw that with the Overlord, so he knows that there is a probe out on the map. So I hope that he actually looked at it, so he will know that there might be a proxy pylon coming down. And he's moving his Zerglings in that direction, so he's for sure going to try to catch that probe and make sure that there are no pylons going up.
Yeah, I like that. If he gets the Zergling inside here, the probe really doesn't have an escape route, so you can maybe leave one of the other ones behind on the ramp to catch it if it tries to get out. And you know, there's so many things you can do with a probe this early on. And oh, he's actually gonna leave it there.
No, he actually misrallied, so
rally.
he's gonna go back. Yeah, but he didn't actually put the links to rally pointed exactly over to the probe yet. But I hope that he's gonna go there, or it would be a bit sad if he just missed it. So come on, Snute, go find the probe.
That probe is going to be the 2013 hide-and-go-seek champion if he survives this. 2 Zerglings, one of them's already gone, and oh man, it's like yeah, he's going to get away. He survived. It's like amnesia. The monster chases you, but if you just you cower in the corner for long enough, this probe, he's a real hero.
Yeah, wow. So this probe is actually going to survive this. So Snute he knew that there was a probe there, so now he's like, where did the probe go? It's like the only place he didn't check to the top right, so wow. He thought that he scouted the map now, so it's possible that he will actually, like, if there was a 4-gate or something coming, he could miss it. But I think that since Kerr is not trying to make something really fast going here, it looks like he might be going for an Immortal all-in here, actually. He took the gases, the 3rd and 4th gas at the timing for that Immortal all-in. The +1 is coming down already, so maybe he's going to try to go for even 1-1 together with his Immortal all-in.
I was going to say, the gas timing on that with the robotics facility is super early. You can pump out these sentries while getting upgrades and building immortals. That has all the tellings of well, you pretty much said it, that immortal sentry timing that generally tries to run 11 minutes, but he will open immediately with... Twilight? Okay.
And another Forge, wow. So I'm wondering why he decided to go for that first robotics facility. So it looks like he wants to take a third base for sure, with that Twilight and that second forge coming down. So he's gonna go for double upgrades here, and maybe let's see what he's building here with the robotics facility. He's building Immortals, so I guess that he will go for an Immortal Sentry Expand, maybe.
Well, there's a couple of interesting things I've actually seen come out of this style before. There's a few North American players, particularly Root, like Puck and State, that kind of like this style where you go for a much later, slightly more supercharged attack, but I actually have to just change my mind about that immediately because he's going for charge as well. Usually it's like a +2 Blink Stalker Immortal all in.
Yeah.
But now,
I was thinking the same.
Now it's like he's getting charged. I don't actually know what to expect. We're seeing something a little bit funky here from Kerr.
And important to point out here is that Snute doesn't know anything. He didn't see the second forge, he didn't see the Robo, and he didn't see the Twilight. So he has like absolutely no scouting whatsoever. So what Snute is doing is that he's going for Roaches, he's going for the Infestation Pit and Hydralisk then. This makes me think, let's see, how many Evolution Chambers does Snute have actually? None. Okay, so my guess is that Snute is going to make first now a lot of links to make sure that he has the map control. Then he's going to try to get up to Hive really fast and get out those Roach, Hydra, Viper, that composition, because it's really strong versus the most of the things that the Protoss player can get out early on from 2 bases. So that is my guess, and we should see 2 Evolution Chambers coming down any second.
Well, that would make things tough. This is a very fast Hive, like you said. This sub 10-minute start, and that Snute sees that there's 7 gateways being added on. This is huge. This is going to be a massive lot at basically when these gateways finish, and I don't actually know what the best response is as far as this Hive timing goes. Does he need the Hive to hold off this attack? Would a couple extra dollars to get Hydras work better? I don't know. This looks very scary from the Protoss player, but yeah, Snute does actually have a lot of supply.
Wow, yeah, Snute has a lot of supply. He is building spine crawlers now. I think that's a good response because this is a push that's going to be very tough to hold off. Usually the Roach Hydra Viper would kill like any 2 base attack when you had like Immortals or something like that, but with all of those Immortals, it might be, like you say, it might be better to delay the Hive a little bit. The important thing here is the upgrades. Look at the upgrades for Kerr and compare them to the upgrades for Snute. There is not even a single Evolution Chamber out yet, so he is at such a disadvantage in the upgrades. So I think that this can be kind of hard for Snute to hold off, even though we see the huge supply lead.
Yeah, this force is actually really scary. You even have that Archon being mixed in. These are all units that fare very well versus the Roach composition. And the Zerglings. He's going to try to run some by. Snute does manage to get past the natural wall, and he's going to go straight into the main and try to get to work on these probes. Zealots warped in preemptively, and they should be able to deal with those Lings, of course. They have the massive upgrade advantage, but we have the first Vipers on the way.
You know, I want to say that Ling run by saved Snute. Like, really, literally. He had Kerr had an Artosis pylon in his main, and Snute managed to get it. And also, Snute managed to delay Kerr just enough to get those Vipers out, just to get all of the units out that he needs. So the only thing now is that Snute really needs to put down those Evolution Chambers to be able to go into like a later stage of this game. But I think that he will be able to hold off this push now, thanks to that delay. It was huge, really.
Yeah, that was quite an epic Artosis pylon. He shut down all of those 7 extra gateways that were warped in. And I mean, at this point, building the third base is not a bad idea for Kerr, especially with the Blinding Cloud now available, which kind of messes up the Immortals when they get stuck behind those Zealots. And of course, just the Abduct. He can pull the Immortals straight into the Hydralisks, and even with the hardened shields, they're going to die very quickly with enough units attacking them at once. So Kerr stepping out. This is still a very powerful force, and with the Mothership Core, if he waits a little bit longer, he will have enough energy to recall if things get hairy.
And that fourth base is actually going to get down here. Some Zealots sneaked in there by Kerr, thanks to that pylon that he got up with a probe that Snute never managed to find. So good little pickup there by Kerr. And yeah, it looks like Snute, he wants to take this fight now before there is Storm out. So very good decision by him.
Yeah, I mean, without any upgrades, it's so hard to make to play out the longer stages of the game. Does pull the Archon in, gets some damage out. A lot of Immortals still on the field. Does manage to pull all of the Immortals through, but they're dealing so much damage to this army. I don't think there'll be quite enough to deal with the Hydralisks, though, and the Hydra's really unleashing that DPS. There's still a few Roaches left over, which is fantastic for Snute now. Still holding a 60 supply lead and immediately trying to remax or resupply on Roach Hydra. But the production of Kerr seems a little bit limited. 74 supply.
Yeah, wow. That was a really, really good fight for Snute. He managed to pull, like, all of the strong units, all of the Archons, all of the Immortals from Kerr's army, so there was basically nothing left for him. So yeah, even though he had that very, very big upgrade disadvantage, he managed to take a perfect fight there, I would say. And we actually see him upgrading in 3 evolution chambers at the moment. So now he's like, oh wow, I really need to get those upgrades going. So he's trying to do that behind us, but I think that this third base by Kerr is not going to get up. Yeah, I don't think there is much Kerr can do because he basically has no army.
Yeah, despite those upgrades, he's held off. He's taken so much damage, and the Storms are a nice attempt. He will be able to get a few more of those Hydras. The Storms are exactly what he needs, but he has not killed off everything yet, and that is, well, that's just a big problem now, isn't it? The Roach is tanking quite well, going to pull the Immortals in with those Abducts, and the army is strong here for Kerr. He's 3-3 versus that 0-0, and that's really his only chance, but there's just so much here for Snute, still holding a huge supply lead.
But wow, yeah, it's like you say, those units are crazy strong with that upgrade advantage. And I think that Snute would have been better off just killing off the third base instead of trying to go for that natural. So it's looking terribly bad for Kerr, I would say. But if he could get up to somehow get up a good army here with those Storms, with those Templars, then maybe. But I think it's going to be tough, especially if Snute continues to push us. So I think he's doing the correct decision here, trying to end this as soon as possible.
Yeah, I like it. I think shutting down that third base is crucial, though. This is going to be a very, very important point of contention. The Zealots are coming up now, as well as the Immortals and Archons. I feel like Snute really wants to kill this off, but he's going to abduct now the Immortal and the Archon, focusing it down after the abduct. And those Zealots do get on top of the army, but 1-1 is done, and even that little bit helps. You know, he's not as far behind as he was before. The Roach flank picks off the Archon, and he is actually starting to shoot through these Zealots. That supply lead, Madalisk, is still so much in Snute's favor.
Yeah, and now I think that it seems like there is basically nothing left for Kerr. So yeah, sure, those Zealots dealt a lot of damage, like a lot of damage. But those Vipers together with this army is going to make sure that this third base is going down, and then there is basically no coming back. Kerr has no minerals left in his main, almost, and his army is just not going to cut it. So, wow, well played by Snute.
Yeah, I don't really see too much that Kerr can do. Warping in a few more charge lots. The Roaches kill those. This Archon is going to go ham on these Roaches, but only manages to grab one of them before being shut down. And 39 supply for Kerr. I don't think there's anything he can do. He doesn't even have a wall in his natural anymore, and these Roaches for Snute are just going to barrel on through.
Yeah, GG is called, so well played.